Hello, my name is Елена Чжан and I work at the Department of Foreign Languages at Sarsena Amanjolova East Kazakhstan University. Today we're going to speak about some aspects of English grammar and to be more exact about 5 basic sentence types. So look at the outline of our today's lecture. We are going to speak about binary structure, about those prototypical sentence types, about transitive, intransitive verbs, linking verbs, and verbs that function in more than one sentence types. The goals of our today's lecture are to distinguish between be, intransitive, linking, and transitive verbs, to recognize the 5 basic sentence types on the basis of the verb and its complements, to differentiate between adverbial and adjectival verb complements, to distinguish between direct, indirect, and object complements, and to draw phrase structure trees and read Kellogg diagrams for each of the 5 sentence types. Well, let's start. Like in all other languages, English consists of potentially infinite set of sentences. If in order to analyze English grammar, we first had to collect and study all of the possible English sentences, our task would be impossible. Fortunately, we can begin to understand how to analyze the grammatical structure of sentences without worrying about each individual one of the billions that have already been or that are still waiting to be spoken or written. Learning to recognize just 5 simple patterns that underline almost all of the sentences of English is a critical and crucial first step. The 5 basic sentence types of English are alike in that each reflects the binary or 2-part structure that characterizes the simplest sentences of the language. Underlying such prototypical sentences, we can discover that a noun phrase functions as subject and a verb phrase functions as predicate. The simplest type 1 sentence consists of a subject followed by a predicate in which there is only one main verb, followed by optional adverb phrase. The technical name of the type of verb that can stand alone in the verb phrase and function as the entire predicate is intransitive. This sentence type gets its name from intransitive verb that is its distinguishing feature. For example, John snores loudly, or fish swim quickly, or like the sentence on the screen, a telephone rang. Adverb phrases are optional in types 1, 3, 4, and 5. Their presence or absence does not distinguish one of these 4 types from another. For example, the customer complained consistently, or Carla must have been enrolled rather early. We can say the customer complained, or Carla must have enrolled. In type 2 sentence, as we will see later, one adverbial complement indicating place or time is required, but adverbial modifiers may occur optionally in all 5 types. Look at the following example. Jesse is outside. If we divide this sentence into their constituents, a noun phrase, subject, and a main verb be, we will see that an obligatory verb phrase, it cannot be shortened to Jesse is. The adverb outside is essential. In type 2 sentence, a form of the linking verb be requires an adverbial complement that completes the predicate and expresses place and time of the subject. Type 3, the linking verb type with adjectival subject complement. Study the following example. The milk tastes sweet. Notice that the predicate in this sentence contains an adjective phrase following the main verb, which may or may not be the form of be. In type 3 sentence, the verb is unable to stand alone as a complete predicate, but requires an adjectival phrase following it. It describes the noun phrase functioning as subject. Again, because the verb serves to join or link the subject to the descriptive verb or phrase in the predicate, they are called linking verbs, or in some classical grammars, copulative verbs. The adjective phrase that follows them functions as an adjectival subject complement. The adjectival complement in type 3 sentences may or may not contain an adjective. Like in the example, he looked like a zombie. We can substitute for the adjective, he looked weary. So, sentence type 4, the linking verb type with nominal subject complement. These sentences contain verbs that link the subject with a subject complement in the predicate, but in type 4 sentences, the linking verb is followed by a nominal constituent, that is, a noun phrase functioning as the subject complement. Nominal means functioning as a noun. The noun or noun phrase that follows a linking verb in type 4 sentence always have the same referent as the subject. That is, it always refers to the same person, place, or thing as the subject noun phrase. For example, the linking verb are in the sentence, those men are brutes, is followed by the noun brutes, which is functioning as the subject complement. Both the subject, those men, and the subject complement, brutes, have the same referent. They refer to the same people, and brutes describes those men. The terms predicate adjective and predicate nominative are useful in English to distinguish adjectival subject complements in type 3 sentences from nominal complements in type 4 sentences. Type 5, transitive type. Look at the example, John hit Bill. This sentence is different from each of the preceding 4 types. As we have seen, intransitive verbs in type 1 sentences require no complements. Linking verbs in types 4, 3, and 2 have complements that refer in some way to the subject of the sentences. These verb types contrast with transitive verbs type 5, because verbs in type 5 sentences require a noun phrase complement that refers to something or someone other than that to which the subject noun phrase refers. None of the other sentence types have this characteristic. The second noun phrase in type 5 sentence functions as a direct object. Verbs like hit that are follow noun phrase like Bill functioning as direct objects are called transitive verbs, from which type 5 sentence derived their name. To summarize, simple English sentences have 4 basic positions that define their structure: the subject position, the main verb position, the position filled by a required object complement, and the position that can be filled by one or more adverbial modifiers. This table differentiates 5 types of English sentences in terms of the constituents that occupy each of these 4 positions in prototypical sentences. So, 4 basic positions. Let's revise: the subject position, the main verb position, the position filled by a required object or complement, and the position that can be filled by one or more adverbial modifiers. So that's it for today. Good luck. Bye.